guys, welcome back to my channel Garden on My Mind. Today I'm going to talk about how to care for your succulents. I know all of us love succulents because they look very cute, either smaller or bigger in size. They are very easy to care for. They don't die on you very easily. You might forget to water them and they would still survive. So all these qualities of succulents make them a very high in demand plants to keep at home. Either you can keep them in balcony, you can keep them indoors, you can keep them outdoors, and they will do just fine. Of course, we have to make sure that the lighting conditions are perfect. So what are succulents? Succulents come from the word called succus in Latin, which means sap or juice, which is very apt for its name because succulents, as you know, have these thick leaves which store water, which help them survive drought-like conditions. And you need not water them for even, like, I would say 15 to 20 days at a stretch, and they would still do fine. Succulents have very fine hair-like roots which is attached to the stem, which is there inside the soil. So what I mean by that is that this is the stem, if you see, and there are fine hair-like roots sometimes on the sides. So if we overwater them, this particular stem tends to rot because it itself can hold a lot of water, and ultimately it would die. So we have to be very careful about the watering. So three things are very important. One is the lighting, watering, and the soil mix. So let's start with watering. Watering your succulents could be the easiest task for you because you don't need to water them regularly, but the one thing that you have to keep in mind, not to overwater them. For that, you have to understand the soil condition before you water them. So for example, this is an echeveria, and I haven't watered it for the past, I would say, maybe more than 2 weeks, but do you see any difference? It is still doing fine. But now if I look at the soil, it is very dry and it needs watering because it doesn't have a single iota of moisture in the soil right now, and it definitely needs watering. So how do we water them? If it is very dry, you can take a tray full of water and dip the soil for some time till, due to the capillary action, it will, the whole soil will soak the water. Or you can just, pour water in the pot directly and let it drip like nicely, and you should be done with your watering. I hope you must have noticed that while I was watering the succulents, the water was draining very easily. That is because of two reasons. One, that I have a well-draining pot, which means that I don't cover the holes of the pot while I'm putting the potting mix, because I want the water to drain out completely. And it doesn't have sufficient holes, then it will ultimately rot. It will absorb more moisture than required and rot the roots, and ultimately it would die. Second is the potting soil. So potting soil has to be very loosely packed because we don't want something like a red soil which compacts over a period of time and constricts the growth of the roots of these tiny succulents. A good potting mix would be a combination of sand, perlite, pumice stones, charcoal, little bit of cocoa peat, and some of the wheat husk. I generally use wheat husk because it adds to the looseness of the potting soil and also provides nutrients to the succulents. You can also check out this link above where it has the complete guide on how to make your own potting mix. You can also buy those succulent soil which are there available in Amazon, etc. Those are slightly expensive, but if you want to create one at home, you can check out this link. Next is lighting conditions. Again, it depends on what kind of succulents you're buying. So I would say a little bit of research is required because not all succulents are the same. Succulents as tiny as these, aloe hair, or say this one, I'm assuming people won't keep it outdoors because you never know. It might have, you might have a heavy rain, or it would be windy, and this might just topple off and it would just, destroy the plant. So these smaller succulents are generally placed indoors. So there is a general thumb rule which I kind of read everywhere, where people say that a succulent needs about 4 to 6 hours of sunlight. But do your own research. I would say when you're buying a succulent from a nursery, just try to read about it. I would say not all succulents need about 4 to 6 of direct sunlight. It might do more harm than good. If you ask me what I do, So the variety of succulents that you saw that I have, what I do is I place it in front of a glass window, which gets about 2 hours of direct sunlight in the morning. So the sunlight is not very harsh. It's a very soft sunshine, and during the day it is warmer during the day because it's near the window, and it does completely fine. I don't even have to water them in like 2 to 3 weeks, and they do absolutely fine. So again, it depends on what kind of succulent you have and where are you placing them. Of course, they cannot survive low light conditions, they cannot at all. They will ultimately droop and die. So of course, light is very important. It needs light throughout the day, if not more. If you cannot give them direct sunlight, at least give them indirect bright light, or whenever possible, if you're a busy person, during the weekends, at least take them out in the sun for some time in the morning, and they will do just fine. Last but not the least, nothing harms these plants with little bit of grooming. So you will see once in a while that as the plant grows, and it tends to put a lot of energy on the new growth. For example, this one. So this is an escheveria, and there has been a shoot growing this side. So what I see is the plant is, all the nutrients is putting all its energy on the new shoot, and the leaves beneath it is drying. So what I'll do is, because I don't want the plant to focus on also reviving the dead leaves, so I'll just remove the dead leaves. You might ask about the fertilization of succulents, how often we should do it. I'm not too worried about it, because if you see the potting soil link that I have put here, it already has worm castings and wheat husk, which already has a lot of nutrients. So I think once in 3 to 4 months fertilization with liquid fertilizer is fine for these succulents, but otherwise it's not like too important that you should fertilize it every month. Hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, give me a thumbs up, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments box and I will reply back to you. Thank you so much and happy gardening. Bye.